I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Donnie and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Put my hat up.
I'm South Carolina, so I just...
gotta be you.
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Mars?
Oh, my heart,
Happy 20th anniversary.
my heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Johnny.
Gotta be me and gotta be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
The doctor lived next door to the janitor to the reverend and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Donnie, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it for all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Gotta be you, gotta be me, gotta be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Donnie, last name's Glover, in it to win it for the long haul, baby. All right, all right, all right. It's the 14th of February. May the love of God be all over you. I hope you're doing well today. So, we've been looking at this political thing. And if you listen to yesterday's show, and if you've checked out bemorenews.com, you know that Conan from the radio station has stated he has interest in running for office. And also Michael Moore. Go to Be More News to get the details on that. Michael Moore says that he is running for mayor, and that's a beautiful thing. There we go. Brighten this up a bit. So that's a beautiful thing. This is still Black History Month. On today, besides the characteristic or historical traditional day, Valentine's Day, this is also a day that we celebrate the birthday of Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, a Marylander. I think my favorite part of the book, the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, is when Frederick Douglass was sent down to Mr. Covey. And Mr. Covey was known to break African Americans who were enslaved. But in the book, Frederick Douglass tells us how instead of Mr. Covey breaking him, he broke Mr. Covey's back. And this is a very important piece because quite often a storyline, a narrative has been told throughout the years as if African Americans enjoyed, tolerated, accepted the chains, the brutal, horrid chains of slavery without fighting back. And that's just absolutely ridiculous. In my book, I Am Black Wall Street, I tell you about how Black people fought against slavery wherever slavery was. In this book, I Am Black Wall Street and Unapologetically Black are readily available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. But speaking of Black power, we have with us today an icon. He is the man who coined the phrase Black power. He marched with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He marched with Stokely Carmichael. He fought. He stood up. He did not cower. And more than that, he touched the lives of countless men of Morehouse College. I know because I was there and I saw it. Without further ado, we bring to the airwaves the one and only, and you got to unmute yourself there, big brother, down the bottom. Hit that unmute button. We're going to bring up the one and only Willie Ricks. You see that mute button on the left? You gotta get you. There we go. There we go. I thought we were gonna have to get your wife in there. Uhuru.
Uhuru African.
Stand up, African.
All right. Oh yeah.
Elder, it is so great to see you. You look marvelous.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
You look marvelous. Kudos to your lovely wife, man. Thank you for all that you do for us. Thank you for the encouragement that you spoke into my life and the brothers that I came in with back in '83. I was like, who is this man? You come in the cafeteria, Uhuru African, and you give us the lynching report. We had no idea. How you doing, Mr. Mukasa Dada?
I'm on the battlefield. That's all I can say.
How is it to be walking history?
Well, I didn't do nothing but serve you, so that's all. I'm just honored that I serve you. That's all. And all my Morehouse brothers when I was there. I had to walk in your school and tell you everybody. The president was dumb. The teachers were dumb. Spelman College was dumb. The whole school was dumb. The people that financed them was dumb. And we come with the truth.
Why? Why was it important? Why was it important to enlighten us?
What was important to do what?
Why was it important
to enlighten? Well, I come to save your life. The house on fire, and you beat on somebody's door, boom, 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 the house on fire. Uhuru, uhuru. That means the house on fire. And I was trying to tell you to run out, that a monster was setting your house on fire. The United States government, the imperialists, the capitalists, racism, has got your house on fire and you're burning. And some of you up there sleep and don't know the house on fire. Smell the smoke and
you could have went to any college. You could have went to Tuskegee.
I did go to Tuskegee. I was in Tuskegee before I was in Morehouse. Matter of fact, I was president of Tuskegee for about 3 weeks until the National Guard came and took it back. Yeah.
For those who don't know, who is Mukasa Dada?
Mukasa Dada is a soldier, a person that served the people, who tried to work alongside Mao Zedong, Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, Dan Ortega, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Touré, Malcolm X, and all those forces that's fighting for liberation and freedom and fighting against imperialism and fighting for socialism or communism, trying to take everything that the rich have and give it to the poorest of the poorest, because the rich made the poor, the rich create the poor. And in order to get rid of the poor, we got to get rid of those people that call themselves rich, because everything they got, they stole from you and me and your mom and your grandmama.
When you came to Morehouse, you knew you were talking to future leaders. What did you hope to impart in these young men at Morehouse?
They were being fooled and told that they were going to be great leaders and whatever, and they weren't going to be nothing but great slaves, and that they were being trained to be slaves and to obey the master and to do what capitalism wanted them to do, and to basically work against their people and run after money and economics and fame for their personal self and not serve the people. My job is to go and tell them that the most important thing was serving your people, help liberating your people, and make the world better for the poorest of the poorest, not make the world better for yourself.
So they were training us to be selfish.
Be slaves.
Slaves.
Morehouse is a slave, a white man, a slave master. Spellman, white woman somewhere, slave master, and they control your curriculum. They control what you taught, control all that stuff, and that we don't have people coming out of these schools doing what they're supposed to do unless they are interrupted by revolutionaries that come to them campuses and take them over and teach our people ourselves. We need to come up with our own curriculum. When I came to Morehouse, I came with a curriculum, and I taught y'all about Africa. I taught y'all about Pan-Africanism. I taught you about socialism. I taught you about countries all over the world, in Ghana, Congo, taught you about Patrice Lumumba in the Congo and the crime that they committed against him. They murdered the prime minister and then cut him up in little pieces and then put his body in acid. And his ancestors, his mom and dad and grandmama, were forced to work for the Belgium, and they if they didn't work hard enough, they cut their ears off, cut their hands off, cut their feet off, till they cut off millions of hands and feet of our people, and stole the diamonds, the gold, the oil, the silver, and killed over 60 million people, live poor, and did the same thing in Zimbabwe and named the country after a white man named Rhodesia, killed over 60 million people, 70 million people, and robbed the people, put the people in slavery, and they did the whole continent of Africa like that, and they robbed us out of Africa. They put us on slave ships and brought us here, and under the bottom of the ship, slave ship Jesus, put us under the slave ship. On the slave ship, the condition was so bad that mothers would cut their babies' throats out. Fathers would lean over and bite their children goose about in their neck, would rather see them dead. So many got away and got loose and jumped overboard, would rather be with the Shah than to be with this colonialist, with this imperialist, with this evil white man that had come into Africa to rape it, rob it, and kill it. And then they come into Africa and they have a little book called a Bible or Quran, whatever they come with, and act like they're going to be so good and promise you a treasure up in the sky and whatever, and you accept them and talk to them. When they get through, you got the little Bible in the little book, and they got your diamonds, gold, oil, rubber, zinc, and kill your people by the millions and millions and millions and leave you with nothing, and steal your diamonds, and now you don't even have a clean drop of water, don't have a toilet, don't have medicine, don't have light, living outdoors like rats and dogs. This is the condition that they put you in. And that's what the message I come to take, not just to Spellman, to Howard, to all of them, and tell them that we have to wake up, go to the cotton field, to the club, to the dope house, and to the little prostitute girls, and tell them that they're queens, they're princes, and they are put in that condition, and you have to sell your body because they took your diamonds and gold. And if it weren't for that, you would have bouquets of diamonds and gold and be rich. And the crime that's being committed against you by NATO, by the United States government, and all the settler colonies that they set up, go to everybody's land in the world, kill the people on that land, and then set up a nation like the United States, like Brazil, like Argentina, and even in the Caribbean. They controlled every nation, and we slaves down there picking cotton, going to tea, growing all kinds of things for somebody else where you go hungry. And these are the kinds of things that come to expose to the children at Morehouse, Spelman, Clark, Tuskegee, Howard University, Yale, and wherever we find our people are. That's why we went there and had to pick up guns and force them to put black studies in the school. Yeah, we put the black studies in these schools. They didn't do it on their own. We let them know we'll burn them buildings down if we didn't get some black studies, African studies in the school. And that's how it got there. And that we must demand that we learn about our history, our culture, and our identity, because this is the only thing that'll save our people now. They're committing genocide on us all over the world. We can't limit ourselves to the United States of America. We must limit ourselves all over the world. When the slave ships left Africa with us on them, It was just like a train stopping. They stopped in Europe and let some off. They stopped in, excuse me here. They stopped in Europe and let some off. They stopped in the Caribbean, let some off. Went down in Colombia and down in Brazil, where they let most of them off, about 100 million of us off. And they scattered us everywhere in the world. And we broke up in little pieces like a puzzle. When you take a puzzle loose, then it's a whole lot of little pieces. And it's a whole lot of little pieces of us on every continent, in every country, and they cut our tongues out where we spoke our language, and now we're forced to speak their language, and we can't communicate with each other and whatever. And this is what they're doing, and they're going not only with chain on our hands, but they use education and religion and all kind of other stuff to put chains on our mind to keep it confused. We under 100% censorship. Not only in the television, not only in the churches, but even in the colleges, in the schools, they scared to teach the truth. And if you tell the truth, they come at your finance or fire you or come at you in different ways and even take your money like they did that little boy Kanye when he told the truth about, yeah. You all right?
We're talking with the one and only Mukasa Dada.
You all right?
African liberator, freedom fighter.
I'm here.
People. Yes, sir.
And so here we being murdered and we being killed, we being lynched, we being raped. And this is happening all over the world. Don't think that the United States just got a small percentage of us. And the continent of Africa is ours. And the only way you're going to solve your problem is to take Africa back. Just like the Chinese took China, and now they're marching forward, and they're taking back all their land that the Europeans went and took for over hundreds of years. Now they're marching forward, taking back everything in the world that belonged to them. Taiwan belonged to China. Go kick butt and get Britain and France and the United States and them Uncle Toms out of Taiwan, take it over, link it back to China. We support you 100%. And now we support Russia. Russia is defending this land. They done went there and to put troops all in Ukraine. United States putting hundreds of millions of dollars along with Western Europe. And they're attacking
50 billion.
Billions, hundreds of billions. All of Europe, they're uniting to attack Russia because they don't like Russia because Putin was in Russia training the troops and training people to come from under colonialism and slavery. And Putin gave them weapons, guns, training, uniforms, and stayed there and trained them for over 10 years. And all over the world, he helping the United States is attacking Syria. Putin got troops and airplanes over there flying, help shooting down American airplanes and bombs that's bombing Syria every day, bombing Yemen every day, trying to starve Zimbabwe to death. And the number one bomb, worse than an atomic bomb, is when they put their embargo on your country and block you where you can't trade, can't bring in food, medicine, and all the stuff that you trade with. Every country's made out of a nation that trade with all other nations. Like the coffee I'm drinking now come from Ethiopia. If they block it, there wouldn't be no coffee here. And so they block everything. That's what they've been doing in Cuba for the last 60-something years, blocking Cuba where they can't get nothing in the country and causing thousands of people to die, costing Cuba hundreds of billions of dollars in economics and what have you. And they're doing Zimbabwe like that. They got about 40 different countries that if you don't give them your diamonds or don't let them take your diamonds, your gold, your oil, your silver, your copper, your pearls, your peanuts, your trees, your mangoes, and just everything. If you don't allow them to take it, if you defend your apple, defend your people, if they can't bomb you, they put embargo on you and cause everybody in the country to go hungry or to be sick because you can't get medicine, not even aspirin or a needle that you need to shoot medicine. They even block that. And that this is what they're doing all over the world, and they're criminals. And so in Zimbabwe, they'll cause so many people to die. in Venezuela, they caused so many people to die and be sick and be hungry. I just left Nicaragua a couple of weeks ago, and they fought a war against, they've been fighting for over 100 years, and the United States been fighting down there for at least 50 years, and they have finally whooped the United States. Now, I was down there because I was down there helping them fight 30 years ago, 35 years ago. I was down there fighting in Nicaragua. When you were a student in Morehouse, I came back and told y'all I just left Nicaragua. I was down there fighting with them, picked up my AK-47, went out on patrol, helped fight against those puppets that the United States was using to attack Nicaragua. And this last month, I went back to Nicaragua and we celebrated victory, because when I was down there, it was a contested zone. They were fighting every day and people being killed, and you had so many deaths. They were trying to kill all the young men between the age 18 and 40. And I went to funerals every day. Every night I would go and they bring the body back to the mamas in the little houses. I would go and sit there and say goodbye to their children. And then I would go to the church the next day and help carry the bodies and put them in the cemeteries and whatever. But this is the United States. Kill all the young people. And that's what they're trying to do here in the United States.
I'm glad
they have a program to kill all the young men. That's why they're putting guns in our neighborhoods. That's why they put all our young boys in jails and prison and hold them where they can't make a baby. Because when you kill one young man, that young man got 5 babies in his balls. And that means you killed 5 when you kill that one. But each one of them 5 have 5. That's 25. Each one of them have 5. That's 125. Each one of them have 5. That's 500. Each one of them have 5. That's 2,000 something. And each one of them have 5. So when you kill one person, you killing thousands. And this is a part of their genocide program. When man and woman can't lay together, that is genocide. And when you put them in jails and prisons or the grave, that is genocide. So the Democrats, Republicans, all of them in the same bed, and they're killing us, and they're doing it all over the world. In the Congo, where the richest land in the world, they got diamonds, gold, oil, rubber, zinc, everything is in the Congo. But at the same time in the Congo, the people of the Congo are the poorest people in the world. They got thousands of mining companies down there digging gold and digging all day long, holding guns on the people, making them work, 5-year-old children in the mine, digging, looking for gold for them to steal and bring to the United States or Europe or white folks somewhere in the world. They're doing that. And then they got women working, carrying 100-pound rocks up down in the holes that they dig. They got to come up. The women carrying them rocks on their head, and all they give them is basically enough food to get back down there for the next day. They don't have toilet, don't have water. They don't have nowhere to live, living in little tents or whatever. A house made out of tin, no toilet, no flow in it, nothing. And this is slavery. This is what the United States and all of them are behind. And I'm telling you, genocide is being committed against us, the imperialists. And look what they're doing right here in New York. I was in Baltimore. I was in the area in Baltimore. And you walk down through there, ain't nothing but death. All the empty houses, empty buildings, and people are suffering, living in them buildings. Drugs everywhere. Heroin everywhere. They putting that stuff in our neighborhood. In California, they got over 50, 60,000 people living outdoors. And this is what they're doing. And they're taking our houses everywhere. And then they in the Caribbean and all down through there, the condition is so bad that so many people are running out of their houses to get away and walking hundreds of miles with their babies in their hand because they're suffering so much. So they're running and walking to the borders, coming, trying to find food, water, and shelter because they're destroying their homes, destroying their communities in these areas. And we have to stop it. So all these countries in South America are dying and suffering. And they commit genocide on them. That's United. That's what they do. And if they're doing it there, they do it here. They're doing the same thing in Baltimore. and all kind of problems in Baltimore, and that they don't have no intention of dealing with it. And they training all these police to beat the hell out of you. I was beat up by the police at Morehouse. I've been beat up by many police, and that they train to do that. They train to kill and murder our children, round them up, put them in jail. And we fought for black police, and they put black police on the force. Like when they killed Meg Evans in Mississippi, we demanded black police after they murdered Meg. We ain't got no black police. We want black police in our neighborhood, look like us. They put a police on the force named Red, and then they would arrest us. And when they take us in the room, they have us handcuffed, and they said, "Come in, Red." And Red, you demonstrated for a nigga police. Come in, Red. And they give Red the stick. Red would beat you blood until they drag you off of him. You laying there bloody, blood coming all out your face, your mouth, your eyes, your back broke, everything. And Red was so dirty, put his mom in jail, sister in jail, children in jail. And he would come at us and attack us for them. And then when he attacked us so many times, finally, his son killed him. And when his son killed him, thousands of black folks showed up at the funeral home and started sticking with knives, pouring gas on him, doing everything, spitting on him. It was the biggest part in Jackson, Mississippi. But we celebrated his death. And they tore his body up so bad that the police had to come rescue his body. And that's how bad his people hated him. And now I'm saying that these are the people that they train these wolves, these dogs, these murderers, these police officers to come in our neighborhood and beat us, kill us, murder us, shoot us in the back, put their knees on our necks, stomp us, and do all that, shoot our children. And this is what they're doing. And so we have to go at the system that's training them to do that. Like them 5 police in Memphis, they're not even a part of it. I wouldn't care if they put them in jail, don't put them in jail, because they're not the important ones. The important ones is the ones who train them, the police departments, the United States government, the army that's training these killers all over the world. Like one of the places they train them to do this kind of stuff is in Fort Bennett, Georgia. And that's about 90 miles from here. It's called the School of the Americas. They train these killers to kill us, murder people all over the world. They train death squads. Anybody that say freedom. Coca-Cola got death squads in South America. United Fruit, where they got people down there picking all them mangoes and apples and oranges and bananas and grapes, all in South and Central America, paying people $2 a week. And anybody complain, they got death squad. When you complain, you be at home at your little house at night or anywhere else they got you sleeping, they send the police in there and they come in there and tie your thumbs together, and then they lead you away and nobody never see you again. And this is the kind of thing that's being done right now. Coca-Cola got death squad. They got people living in trash, and that anybody complain about the paycheck and the way Coca-Cola pay them, you die. Coca-Cola just in Haiti is one of the most poorest nations in the world, because Haiti was the first nation to gain freedom when we were all in slavery. When Haiti gained freedom and liberation, they over 200 years ago, they beat them down and beat them down and beat them back. But Haiti stood free for over 200 years, and now they continue to beat Haiti back until they made Haiti the poorest nation in the world. And now Hillary Clinton went to Haiti, and when the earthquake hit, took $2 billion off the top. And this is a fact.
Hillary
now they got
Clinton.
troops down there
Hillary-
raping the women, raping the children, and they're criminals.
Hillary
and the only way to
Clinton.
stop it is revolution.
Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton. How much? $2 billion from
$2
Haiti.
billion. But look at Obama. He did even worse. Look how he attacked Libya.
Yo,
And killed
Gaddafi.
Muammar Gaddafi, and Libya was one of the richest nations in the world. And when Libya was bombed, they killed tens of thousands of people in Libya, still dropping bombs on them, and ran people who was rich and living good. Now they got to run for their lives, jump in the ocean, trying to get away from the United States bomb. They got thousands of people in football fields like places, selling them into slavery, back into slavery to them Arabs, selling our people into slavery, and Libya had over $100 billion in their banks or whatever in gold. United States went there and took that gold. They went there and took over the oil fields, billions of dollars worth of oil fields that helped Africa. Muammar Gaddafi was trying to unite Africa. All he was saying is Africa is the richest land in the world, got all the natural resources in the world, coltan, diamonds, gold, all the fruits, waterways, everything. Why don't we unite and stop them from coming and taking it free? And why don't we unite and where we can give it to, use that and make Africa the richest nation in the world, that to make the people the richest people in the world, and build universities and hospitals and come and be well developed, build factories in the industry. If we got diamonds, why not build diamond factories in Africa? We got gold, why not build the gold factories in Africa? We got coltan, why not build the coltan factories in Africa that's responsible for all electronics not shocking you and all that. And we got all these resources. Let's build those resources in Africa and let's unite. They broke Africa up into 50, 60 different pieces. And all the European nations rape each piece, and each piece belongs to a different European nation, and they take everything out and leave the people with nothing. Gaddafi said, this is wrong. Why don't we all come together? And he recognized that not just in Africa, but all the people in Central South America, the native people, the Aztecs, the Maya, and all the people in South Central America, whether it's in Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba, Caribbean, West Indies, anywhere in the world, we must unite. And they've got Africans in the South Pacific we can't forget too. In the South Pacific, all down there in Bougainville and all them places that's fighting for their freedom and liberation. These people are all over the world. Imperialism is a worldwide economic order that rape and rob and kill and murder and take everybody's everything. And they're responsible for everybody in the world that's sick, everybody in the world that's hungry. United States, this imperialist, is responsible for it, and the only way you can stop them is revolution. If you don't get organized and unite and take your stuff back, just like they did just in Ukraine, not Ukraine, Afghanistan, the United States dropped atomic bombs on them every day for 20 years. But they got together, and when they decided we're not going to fight each other anymore, we're going to fight the United States. And the day they united, that's the day you saw the United States running and begging. Just let us out. Let us get out. And that's the same way going to happen in China. Mao Zedong got them people together. Look at China today. Vietnam got their people together, fought a war for 20, 30, 40 years. Look at Vietnam today. And Cuba came together, fought them, ran them out to Cuba. Look at Cuba today. Free medicine, free education. Ain't no light bill, gas bill, water bill, and all these things they can give to the people. Things that should be free. They down here charging for it. Like in Venezuela, they got an eye program. Anybody that's blind can come to Nicaragua, Venezuela, Nicaragua also, and get eye treatment, and they won't charge you 1 penny for it because it's so simple and easy. It don't cost no time, no money, it's nothing. Just a little drop of medicine, fix your eye right away. You come out, you can see. But the United States don't want, you going blind over here, they can charge you 50,000, 100,000. If you ain't got no money, they leave you blind. You got cancer. They curing different cancers. Don't charge no money to do it. Any medicine you need is free medicine. Don't charge no money for medicine. You get hospital care. You go in the hospital. Don't charge no money for hospital care. So you got all this all over the world, and they charge you for stuff that ain't no charge for. They just want to make money. Water flow out the sky. What you got to pay a high water bill for? Nothing. They robbing you and miseducating you in the schools. Education should be free. They should pay. How prison can be free and charge you for education? Why not let the prisons make the prisons out of universities? Make every prison a university and let people come out of prison, doctors and engineers and chemists and physics and nation builders. What we need with prisons is just make you ignorant, make you dumb, keep you a slave. We need to burn down all the jails and prisons and then burn up all the people that put them in it. I'm talking about revolution. I'm talking about revolution. Listen to Malcolm. Listen to Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Toure, Ho Chi Minh, Mao Zedong, Mr. Putin, the president of Russia, Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, Maduro, and all of this, thousands of them that tell you the truth, but you under censorship where you can't hear them and they don't want you to hear them. So my brother, let us fight for freedom. Let us fight for Africa.
How do we get back to loving each other, big brother? How we are hateful of each other. We are jealous of each other. We kill each other. Where is the love? How do we get back to what our ancestors who endured slavery, they had a better understanding of love, of sticking together. It's like once integration hit, it's all me, myself, and I. Talk to Black America. What can we do?
That's what they teach you. That's why you go to school, when you walk your little beautiful child, your little boy and girl to school, they're the sweetest, loving thing you ever want to see. And when they come back home 12 years later, you got to get a gun. You're scared of them because that's what they teach them in school. They teach you to hate your nose, your lips, your eyes, your hair, your skin. They teach you to hate your history. They teach you to hate Africa because they benefit from it when you fight each other. They benefit from you. And matter of fact, if you ain't fighting each other, if they come to your country, soon you will be fighting and killing each other, and they will use you, watch you die, where they steal your diamonds, your gold, your oil. Look at the different wars in the Congo right now. While the richest nation in the world, they got it divided up so bad that in the last 5, 6, 10 years, 10 million people done died. And they dying every day, all day long. Look what they did in Iraq. Saddam Hussein had a united country. When they went there, now they fighting a war and blowing up each other every day because that's what they do. In Syria, they blowing up Syria. Got Syria. We had a fine president there. Assad and his dad and all of them a fine president. Now they fighting and killing each other. Anywhere they go. My grandmama say, if you put a television or send a chicken to school, the chickens would start pecking each other. The rooster would start fighting the chickens. So anywhere you go, anywhere you let them talk to you, anywhere you hear their voice, they'll teach you division. They'll teach you hatred of yourself. But at the same time, they teach you to love and obey them. That's why all the guns and shootings you see today, most of everybody I know shoot Africans, shoot your own people. And the guns come from the white people, but you use your guns on the Black people. This is what they've trained you to do. So until we come and take control of ourselves, take control of our nation, and be in control of who we are, then every problem that we have, we lay at their doorstep. So if your child killed another child, they're responsible for it. If you're hating on yourself, they're responsible for it. If you don't like your African history and your African culture, they're responsible for it. If you don't know your history and your African culture, they're responsible for it. If you don't speak your language, they're responsible for it. So here, you're under complete control, and that's what they're doing to you, and they benefit from it, and we have to stop it. And that's what they did in Nicaragua. They're taking over the media, take over the education system. And now the people in Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, they're some of the finest people you ever want to meet. And that's what Mugabe was doing in Zimbabwe. That's what Kwame Nkrumah was trying to do for all of Africa. That's what Libya's president was trying to do for all of Libya. That's what Thomas Sankara was trying to do. That's why they killed Lumumba in the Congo and then chopped his body up in little pieces and put in acid and got rid of him. Prime Minister of the Congo, Patrice Lumumba. And all y'all that can hear my voice, you should Google Patrice Lumumba. You should know. And this is what the United States did. You see what they do.
King Leopold too. King Leopold of Belgium, the famous quote is, "They cut my hands off in the Congo."
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean, but they're doing it right now today. They're doing it right now.
But we
They,
want to put when something happened in Belgium, I've seen black people change their whole Facebook profile to say, I stand with Belgium. I say these got to be the most ignorant people I've ever met in my life.
well, you do have a lot of them going to stand with Belgium, and a lot of them stand with the United States. Look at all these fools in the United States Army. Look at all these politicians that speak up for the United States and all this kind of stuff and what they're doing around the world. Democrat, and they identify with this murder of Biden and that little prostitute he got standing with him. And they identify with all that. They scared to tell the truth. Even in Baltimore, the governor can't tell the truth. He got to obey his slave master. And when they say kill black people, he got to send the troops and bring the troops to your neighborhood to kill you and put you in slavery. If he was a real governor or a real mayor, wherever you might have one of us, then they want to send the police in our neighborhood. We're going to put 500 police in the black neighborhood and put $5 billion in the white neighborhood. Now, why don't you reverse that? Put the $5 billion in the black neighborhood, you won't need no police.
Marion Barry was one of, look, Marion Barry was one of the greatest politicians of my era.
Who is
right
that?
Right here in the DC, Baltimore capital.
Oh, Marion Barry.
Marion Barry
was trained by SNCC. Marion Barry was trained by SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. He was our first chairman. He went into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and fought many battles, fought side by side with Dr. King, even fought in front of Dr. King, taught Dr. King a few things. And Mary was the greatest mayor they ever had. And he gave all our children jobs, took the money and spent it in our neighborhood. That's why they hated him, tried to set him up with all them crazy folks and whatever. And he ended up hurting himself a little bit here and there, but he dog showed, served the people, loved the people, helped the people, gave every child a job playing basketball. You had a job minding your mama, had a job playing basketball in your backyard. Bless Marion Barry, bless Idi Amin Dada, bless all the freedom fighters of the world.
Idi Amin, I was a young boy, I saw his movie, and they tried to paint Idi Amin as a cannibal when that man was showing love and reverence for his dead brother. And I know the reason they demonized Idi Amin is because he kicked them people out of Africa.
And gave Africa back to the Africans. He took the whites and Arabs and the foreigners, the Indians, everybody was in Africa. We lived on the bottom in our own country, on the very bottom. We were there serving slaves. When Idi Amin came to power, he took his guns and turned them on the British, told them to get out. You came with nothing, leave with nothing. Indians, you're serving Europe, serving Britain, you got British passport, go to Britain. And he took all of Africa, all the richness of Africa, all the business, and gave them back to the Africans and changed Africa. And that's why they end up invading him and beating him back down and running him out of his own country. But Idi Amin was a great man. You know, Idi Amin gave me my name, Mukasa Dada.
Did he?
I was his guest in Uganda. And I went there and joined his army and I was right there with Idi Amin. He was my friend, my brother, my comrade. And he named me after him, Mukasa Dada. I'm honored. Long live Idi Amin.
I got to say thank you to our brother Robbie down in Atlanta for reconnecting us. And I want to thank you for coming to Baltimore when you hung out at the festival down there.
That's right. You gave me a handful of books.
2 blocks from my house. I had no idea. It was nothing but divine. I had no idea that Mukasa was right down the street. Man, you made my day, to say the least.
Well, you remember I used to come to your dormitory, knock on your door, and sit down and talk to you about Africa, the movement, the revolution struggle. I would come to the cafeteria and breakfast, lunch, and dinner, sit down at the table where you were eating, talk to you about Africa. I'd go to your classroom and right before the teacher get there and tell you about the movement, the revolution, the struggle, and give you any information I could about scientific socialism, about Pan-Africanism, and about different struggles taking place, about SNCC, what SNCC was, what we did, and the great role that the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee played in the movement, and how we were the revolutionaries, started the Black Panther Party, started the Black Power movement, helped destroy and stop the war in Vietnam, helped the Palestinian people, join in with Jim Foreman and Cleve Sellers, myself, Winkett, and John Lewis went to the United Nations and boxed the South African embassy, whooped their ass, man, and said, free Mandela, free Robert Sobukwe, free the people in South Africa. And they put us in jail in New York for doing it, but we went there and spoke up and fought for the people in Africa, and we united our movement with our brothers on the continent of Africa, and we were some of the first to stand up and speak up for South Africa, and we did that and helped bring some form of liberation there. But remember, Mandela ended up being a puppet of the white folks in South Africa, and they got him out of jail and put him up there like he was the president. But in fact, they were still running everything, keeping it down with the gold, the oil, and the white man in South Africa still in charge, still got the diamonds, gold, oil, and the black people still don't have toilets, water, running water, and many are very, very poor, and the whites down there are very, very rich. And that we must continue to take our land in South Africa. And South Africa definitely is facing a revolution right now. And when it faces a revolution, the United States, NATO, and all of them will be fighting South Africa. They're doing it in many ways, just like they're doing in Russia. But Africa going to be a major battle, because if Obama had put armies in Africa called AFRICOM. And AFRICOM, the United States military, go and work with all the different armies in Africa, and they're working with over 40-something armies, and they got 40-something different bases in Africa with heavy guns, bombs, poison gas, everything, and they preparing for war in Africa.
I thought Obama was part African.
Obama was, he could have been part African, but he's definitely a neo-colonialist agent of imperialism, and that he killed and dropped more bombs on Africa than any president ever did. The last thing Obama did,
black president, not the first black president.
That's what they said, not the black police. Remember, we demonstrated for black police, and look at the black police we put on the force in Memphis, Tennessee.
Well,
look at the black police.
Them people in Benghazi wasn't taking it lying down.
Yeah. And look at all the black police we put in Baltimore and all over, and they say not one word when they beat the hell out of us and kill us, and you see them killing and murdering our children just like the white ones. And they stand there and grin and help the white ones beat the hell out you and kill you. So just because they got black skin, they're even more dangerous. That's the black skin is the last stage of racism. It's called neo-colonialism. It's the last stage of imperialism, and it's the most vicious form. Because when you got white rule, they rule and they rape you. But when you run them out, run the white out, and they bring in black people to take their place and run the country, they rape it even more. And these black guys be more killers and murderers than what the whites you were fighting against. So it don't matter.
Tell me about Dr. King.
Dr. King, he was my friend. I worked with him. We marched, we demonstrated, we protested.
I heard you showed him how to throw a left hook.
Well, when we was in certain situations, he had to be protected, or we had to fight. Now, the difference between Dr. King and SNCC saw nonviolence as a tactic, and that we'd do it in front of the camera, but if somebody hit us in after the camera or whatever, we're going to knock them out. If they come in there shooting in our neighborhood at night, we're ready to shoot back and whatever. But Dr. King saw nonviolence as a way of life, and that he faced bombs and guns and everything, and many of our people and his friends were killed and murdered, and like in Birmingham, when they put bomb in the churches and shooting children in the street, beating the hell out of us, putting mad dogs on us, all that. And the hotel we lived in, they put a bomb in there and blew it up. But a couple of days before they put the bomb in the church, we were laying up in the Gaston Motel. That was a little black hotel because I couldn't go to the white hotel. We laying up in the Gaston Motel, and everybody started screaming, "They're coming!" And we opened the door, had people naked and whatever. And that And when we looked out there, they kicking doors in and coming in there with sticks and billy club police, firemen, and white folk coming in there and they fighting, they whooping. And everybody had to come out their room naked or whatever, women coming out and whatever, and they had to fight. And that's how we drove them back. We had to fight. And Dr. King was out there throwing hooks and whatever, too. He couldn't be nonviolent that day, not for that time. First year, if you're going to be nonviolent, you had to whoop the ass of those who was being violent. And he did it, and he helped do it. And I don't know what all role he played, but he definitely played a role in fighting. And all of us had to fight back. I wasn't no fighter neither. I ain't no fighter, but that day, I was knocking them out. Pow!
What did
You think I was Muhammad Ali?
Tell me one thing you learned from Stokely.
Stokely, well, he's my best friend, and we were soldiers, and we fought many, many battles together. We fought in Alabama, Mississippi. We registered people to vote. We started the Black Panther Party together in Lowndes County, Alabama, and we faced guns, bombs, organization. And the most important thing I learned from him is that we learned from each other, really, that we need organization. And so we formed the Lowndes County Freedom Organization, which became known as the Black Panther Party. And we went in and we was in Mississippi together. We formed, we organized Fannie Lou Hamer and many, many other women like Fannie Lou Hamer and me and children. And we know we had to have organization, put organization in every city. We put organization in every county. And then we put all those organizations together and created a state organization called the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. And that we put had Fannie Lou Hamer as one of the spokesmen for it. And we built that organization. Say it again.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Absolutely. And then from building the state organization, building the Black Panther Party there, but we had them all over the Southwest Georgia. We built the Albany movement in Sumter County. Sumter County movement, y'all should Google Albany movement. Y'all should Google the MFDP. Y'all should Google Albany movement, Sumter County movement. Y'all should Google the Lowndes County Freedom Organization. Y'all should Google Patrice Lumumba. And then we put together an organization called SABU, Student Organization for Black Unity. And that's when we joined our movement in with Angola, Mozambique, South Africa, Guinea-Bissau, the great leader Amilcar Cabral, and many, many other people and groups that we joined. We joined in with the Palestinians. We joined in with Vietnam and helped the Vietnamese defeat the United States, defeat imperialism. But Stokely taught us that we need to join in with all the organizations in the world and that the individual is capable of not doing very much, but organization, when those individuals come together and form organization, they are a mighty power. And so he taught us the importance of organization and educating our people to who they were and to join in, not just fight United States, but fight for Africa, the total Africa, and all our movements in the United States, in the Caribbean, in Brazil, or in Africa, or in Europe, wherever we find ourselves, we must come together and be guided by one ideology and have one great objective, the total liberation and unification of Africa under scientific socialism. Socialism got to be our economic system.
We have $1.6 trillion in annual disposable income, but we shop more than anybody else.
Because you ain't got nowhere to spend it. When they gave you, when the government gave you that money last year, all them billions of dollars they gave you, you had nowhere to take it but Walmart. So when they gave it to you, you just a delivery boy. They put that money in your hand, and your job is to deliver it to Walmart.
Wow. I don't know what happened right there, but I hope you got an earful. I am grateful. We just had the one and only Mukasa. I don't know what happened to the connection, but that was a lot. You got to replay this tape. You got to share it with somebody. I don't know if you were as impressed as I was. Good gracious. The one and only Mukasa. Heavens to Betsy. Woo! Did you catch all of that? Nicaragua, Venezuela, South Africa, Uganda, Libya. He don't play. And I don't know that he's changed a bit since, I guess he's matured and grown and learned even more, but that's the same Mukasa that I met in 1983. 1983. There we go. There we go.
Oh,
I knew they were
my
coming.
daughter saved me.
I knew they were coming at some point.
I got excited and touched the screen.
Okay.
Oh man, I don't know what I was talking about. I got too excited then. I might have tear the screen up.
But look, we got $1.6 trillion, and if we give it away, we're not building. We don't own houses. Our ancestors.
Listen, you got $1 trillion that they give you, but you got trillions and billions and billions and trillions of valuable gold, diamonds, oil, silver, copper, pearl, cobalt, manganese in Africa. Your natural resource, and then you over natural resource in the Caribbean and wherever you are in the world. Your diamonds is worth more than that money. Money ain't nothing but paper. Gaddafi told him, I don't want your money. I don't want your paper. I don't bring me no dollars for my oil. You bring diamonds and gold. Diamonds and gold is more important than paper. The white man ain't got nothing but paper, and he think he can come and get paper and get your gold and get your diamond. We don't want that at all. We want our diamonds and gold. We take the diamonds in Congo. We take our oil in Africa, and we can finance the whole world. Matter of fact, Africa is financing the whole world. The whole world is on Africa's resources. None of them would have a factory. China wouldn't have nothing one for Africa. United States, Europe, France, Britain, none of them would have nothing if it wasn't for Africa.
I was in Tanzania and I saw the Chinese building roads. I was doing some reading, found out the Chinese got 13 police stations in South Africa. What's happening?
Well,
Chinese take over Africa?
No, Chinese ain't took it over. They ain't took it over at all. United States and Europe got Africa. And the Chinese come, welcome. They help us. We need the Chinese. Anything is better than these crackers. Anything is better than this white man have raped us and robbed us and stabbed us and bombed us for 500 years. Anything is better. I'll take the devil in hell itself before over these crackers. And so bring on China. And they try to brainwash us. China's coming. No, you are here. And you've been here. We want to get you out of our pocket. And this United States got thousands of mining companies digging all through Africa, France, Britain, Germany. That's how they got rich. Look, this European on this Kessler car. He was down in South Africa, stole our diamonds and gold and whatever. And now he's one of the richest men in the world on the internet and hate black people.
Yeah, he do. Mukasa, how can people get in touch with you? What can people do? What's your call to action?
My call to action is to get organized, join movements, and help people fight. Help people march forward. We need your help, and you know it. And that there are many people out here fighting, dying. Some of them ain't got shoes on their feet, but they're telling the truth. Help your people. Don't be on the sideline. Help your people. We need your help, and you know we do. And that so we just need your help, and you need to get conscious. You need to wake up. Stop walking in your sleep and wake up. And that's the most important thing you can do. And that learn about Lumumba, learn about the AAPRP, learn about
All African People
the Uhuru movement.
Party.
Say it again.
All African People Revolutionary Party. I learned about it from you.
And learn about the Uhuru movement. Learn about the history of the SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and learn about what's going on in Venezuela. Support Russia, support Cuba. Refuse to go into the army. Go out and demonstrate and protest against the war. Keep your children from going in the army, picking up guns for the United States, dying and suffering. Go and help and bring some food, some medicine, some light, some hugs, some love to all our people living out there in the streets, in the alleys, in the tents and stuff like that. So that's the most important thing you can do is help your people. And one other thing I want to say, that February the 18th, I'll be 80 years old.
Happy birthday.
That'll be my birthday. And all y'all brothers and sisters that can hear our voice, they're having a big party for me at the Black Wall Street in Atlanta, Georgia. Black Wall Street in Atlanta, Georgia. That's right by the DeKalb County, the mall in what's the name of that mall, Nuna? Stonecrest Mall, right across from Stonecrest Mall, Black Wall Street. And it's going to be Saturday at 5 o'clock. And that's when it's going to start the party and the revolution. It's going to be a revolutionary gathering.
Happy birthday, big brother.
Yeah, 80 years old, been kicking butt over 65 years. I've been out there fighting and fought with some of the very best people, not just in the United States, but all over the world. And I'm very happy. Not just black people, Vietnamese, Chinese, Nicaraguan, Cubans, Zimbabwe and South Africans, and I couldn't even begin to name the crew. And I fought with the people in the alley and on the street, the little girl prostitute, the doctor girls, and all kinds, Morehouse students, and jails. I've been in the best jails they had, in the prisons, and where I was treated like kings in these jails and prisons where the police were trying to kill me. And I worked at Morehouse and hung out with them brothers over in there. And I've changed institutions and made them change the whole curriculum throughout the whole country.
And you coined the phrase Black Power.
And with Black Power, I helped burn down all these cities, had the whole United States on fire one time, helped all our brothers in Africa when they were fighting and shooting down airplanes, the Mau Maus and the PAIGC and Mugabe in Zimbabwe and the PAC in South Africa and Angola and Robert Michel, Shamar Michel in Mozambique, SWAPO in Southern Africa. Well, it's been a worldwide fight, and I want you to make sure that we always see this as a worldwide fight. Remember the people in Nicaragua, and El Salvador, and Guatemala, these Aztecs and Maya people, they're our brothers and sisters. And they say, Nice Rende, Nice Vende, Hamas. That means never surrender, never give up. And Hamas means never. Nice Rende, Hamas. And we'll never give up, we'll never stop, and we continue to fight, and we say, Uhuru, Pamberi Shimaringa, Amanda, ease away to Africa. That means we're fighting, we're marching for Black Power. We're marching forward, we're on the offense, and the freedom fighters are up in arms and will lay their lives down before they lay their arms down. Long live Che Guevara, long live Lumumba, long live Thomas Sakari, and the thousands of other brothers and sisters that we can't name today.
We love you, Mukasa.
Africa unite. All my Morehouse brothers, spread the word. Meet Mukasa at the Black Wall Street outside Stonecrest Mall this coming Saturday at 5 o'clock. The war is on. We're going to get free, brother. We will fight them until they're dead. Black Power. Long live Africa. Uhuru. Uhuru.
We love you, big brother. Thank you.
Africa unite.
Wow. Wow. You're gonna have to carry this for yourself. I gotta go debrief.
Powerful. Hey, peace, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Chef T. Terrence Dixon, live and direct on Black Wall Street here. Very humble, thankful Donnie invited me on today. And I just wanted to share out some love today. I know it's Valentine's Day, but you know what? One of the things in our community that we definitely look to share on a consistent basis is love every day. Not for it to be limited just until February 14th, but for us to care about one another. It's really important. You know, a lot of things in our community are happening right now because we've lost the real essence of what love is, the touchy-feely of it, the emotional, and the accountability of love. You know, so to everybody out there, hey, we love you here at Terra Cafe. We love you with the Bamboo Project. We love you with Terra Loft Consulting. Whatever facet we have relations with you, guess what? We love you. All right. So we got something real great going on tonight. We got a special Valentine's Day edition, love edition of Feel Good Tuesdays. That's an open mic. It's doors open up at 8 o'clock. It's only $10 to get in, and an awesome evening. You know, we definitely got some drink specials coming in tonight, and we got a few special dishes tonight with a little flair, with a little love. We got some salmon in the house tonight, honey salmon bites, you know, some other dishes. But get ready to come on down and see us tonight. Real great evening. But what's going to be really hot is this is so nice. We got to do it twice. Okay. We got Bashari Assad. All right. Neo soul, jazz, a whole awesome energy. Like I said, so nice. We got to do it twice. Love isn't just on one day. It's going to hit back to back. All right.
Did you catch that revolutionary on there, man?
Man, come on, man. That was love. That was love, Donnie. I caught the tail end, but that's what, they say they get in where you fit in.
That's
You always
Mukasa,
on
man.
time. I caught what I was supposed to get.
He said it's a worldwide fight.
Come on.
He was inferring, I think, that we got soft. We got real soft. We moved to Randallstown and forgot all about the struggle.
Well, you know what? He gave directions too. He said everybody need to get conscious. He said, wake up. He said, get up.
And he said we need to be, he mentioned Black Wall Street, Stonecrest Mall this Saturday, 5 o'clock. I might have to find my way down there, man.
You know what? That's right around the corner from my mother's house. My mother and father live right down the street from there.
But we got Black Wall Street right here, too.
Come on, on the 28th, it's going down. You know what I mean? Donnie, again, look, so nice. We got to do it twice. We did it last month. We're going to bring it back around again. We want to salute some of those cats that are new out here, that new energy, that new direction. All right. It's a new Baltimore. You know what I mean? And it's about a new Baltimore. And we definitely got to be part of building that ourselves. And one of the things that we had that great conversation about the other day was that this whole thing of our own social enterprise, where we're really focusing on ourselves and sharing with people tools of how to work better together and really, get together in one mindset on one big goal instead of all these little small goals on the side of everybody else. Something big for the community itself. So I'm excited about that. But like I said, definitely looking forward to it. And we got a couple of new spins. Not only are you going to be able to dine inside tomorrow, hey, you'll be able to slide out to the Jerk Garden. We're putting a new face on it, doing a few things, looking at.
Wait a minute. Hold up. We can go to the garden.
Well, we can always go to the garden. What's great is this. I have a whole new sound system.
No, we need to say this, man. You put over $150,000 in building that backyard.
Yes, sir. And still adding. That was last.
And in a black city with a black mayor, a majority black city council, in a state with a black governor, this black entrepreneur is being oppressed. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't want nothing to do with politics because this is what we get.
Well, you know what? We got great things. I got awesome TVs outside now, Donnie. We're going to stay still in the line of the law. We're in litigation right now, and I'm thankful for everybody just keeping us supported. You know what I mean? The biggest thing you can do is just keep this whole piece visual, keep your eyes on us right now, but come on down and support us too. All right. So many people, since that piece was moved from us and it was such a heavy part of the staple of who we are. Okay. So many people.
I commend you for keeping.
They thought we were close.
I commend you for enduring it. I commend you for not losing what Marvin Sapp say. I would have lost my mind. A lot of people, some people, 1929, the Great Depression, white people was jumping off buildings, brother. Black people were building. Harry Wilson built his bank in the middle of the Depression.
Come on, man.
But people were jumping off buildings.
It won't kill you. It'll make you stronger, son. That's what this has done. So like I said, we've elevated to the new level, to the next level. All right. We're leading Baltimore because this is the new Baltimore. No matter how much the old Baltimore fight, kick, scream, and cry, guess what? Get ready. We're here. We ain't going nowhere. All right. So as we lead this new thing right now, like I said, he's going to be performing inside, and we'll work it out where you're going to be able to see him outside just in case you want to be outside. And hey, we're working it out, Donnie. Really excited about everything that's going on. All right. And we're getting ready for spring, So that's what it's doing. And also CIAA, as soon as we get that tightened back up, we got a few events that we like to share with the community then. like I said, we're looking forward to really sharing this Jerk Garden. And like I said, I had a couple of ideas. All right. I got my tools and I did a couple of things, and that's my therapy. That's how I talk to God. I go and put my hands on something. So instead of putting my hands on people, I put my hands on growth. You know what I mean? And that's the resources we should have for our youth out here today. We should have resources. Guess what? That if they uptight and not right, they should be able to go and actually really self-care, all right, by building on themselves. One of the biggest things is that when you do something for yourself, you know what I mean, that you could say, I did that.
I want to say this to you. I remember about 4 years ago, you digging in the dumpster for some damn books.
Yeah, for the kids, man. Yo, that was stop.
I ain't forget.
Yeah.
You dug in the trash. You found.
I asked them, yo, Donnie, but I asked them for them first.
You asked them for
I
the book.
they had books all in the hallway. And guess what I was going to do with them, Donnie?
Give them away to kids.
I would give them away to kids, but then you had another school over on the west side, okay, that needed books. They had took one school and turned it into.
Let me say this. Today on the news, I saw a state senator, Mary Washington. I sent her a message.
Wow.
And Patrice on Fox asked her, a lot of times we say we need more money. We need more money for the schools. But the money don't go to the school.
No, it never does, King.
So what baffled me, and I'm really, I gotta go and question. I have to go to Annapolis and ask her, why are you so confident that the money is being spent correctly? Because that's what we often, that's the Democratic mindset in Maryland. We put more money on it. Okay, where's the money? Because they just closed schools in September because it was too hot. I'm trying to understand.
Wow.
I'm trying to understand. I don't understand. Yeah. I'm baffled. I'm perplexed. I'm befuddled. I'm worried that people are lying to my face. Oh, we got money. It's plenty money. What school is she looking at? They closed schools in September because it was too hot. We have
the money. It's just maybe it's not being put in the right areas, Donnie.
So you can't sit up there and say everything is peachy keen when it's not. Hey, brother, I'm about to get. We about to break some news right here, man. You can't say that there's money. And you look around and the kids' schools were closed. Terrence, we got to get out of here. I got to transition, but don't go too far. I want you to hear this next interview. This will blow your mind. Watch this. Good morning, Mr. Avon. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just fine, Mr. Glover. How are you this morning, my friend?
I'm good. Let me first say that back in the mid-90s when I was just coming along on the scene, you and Ricky Smith and Scott Phillips, you allowed me in the room at some of my first Black professional men meeting, and it enhanced my life, to say the least. I would meet people and people I knew from elsewhere, but Omar Muhammad and Teddy Coates and Brad Ridd, and I remember the Black Entrepreneurship Weekend, but I also remember just before then, you had this restaurant. Oh, you had this restaurant. And you had a couple of, was it two of them?
I had one restaurant.
Okay, so this is the one on Calvert Street?
Yeah, it was 12 South Calvert Street, the Redwood Grill.
Yeah, that's it. Oh my goodness.
Led by my partner,
towel on the floor.
My partner, Rod Womack, was the visionary behind the restaurant. So I give Rod all the credit for, bringing it to the brothers and saying, hey, we're going to do this. Anybody want to get on board? And I said, sure. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm always about supporting other Black entrepreneurs. And so I'll jump on in. I became a partner along with another brother named Cleveland Jarrett. So it was myself, Rod Womack, and Cleve Jarrett that did the Redwood Grill. So,
And then
all Black professional men, all members of Black professional men.
I have learned that you received some tutelage from a Tyrone Taborn. Is that correct?
Well, Tyrone, the way I came to Baltimore is myself, Tyrone Taborn, Gene Hamilton, another brother named Robert Smith, and Leon Capers. We all went to Cornell together. We're a career communications group, U.S. Black Engineer Magazine, the Black Engineer of the Year Awards Conference, all was born out of students that went to Cornell University. And in 1985, we decided to move out of Ithaca so we can get into a bigger city, and we moved to Baltimore. And so the 5 of us were the ones who launched and built Career Communications Group. As a matter of fact, I'm the one who came up with the name Career Communications Group. And then all of us are the ones who launched the Black Engineer of the Year Awards Conference. So we were publishing U.S. Black Engineer Magazine, Hispanic Engineer Magazine. We started the Black Engineer of the Year Awards Conference, the Hispanic Engineer National Achievement Awards. And since then, it's going on to grow into many things. But eventually, after 7 years of being with those gentlemen, I left and I started my first company, Umoja Sasa Condoms and U.S.
I remember them. I remember them.
Exactly. And so,
Was
but yeah, we all
Eagle Street, your office at the time?
where was our original offices were on I was close. Eager and St. Paul Street. Eager and St.
I remember.
Paul. We got very
they had a pretty label.
Yeah.
Afrocentric.
Exactly. We sold millions and millions of those condoms and HIV/AIDS prevention and education.
AIDS was all in the news at the time.
Yep, it was 1991. And right about then is when I actually helped to co-found Black Professional Men. So 1991, I launched U.S. Prevention Marketing Group, and we launched Black Professional Men in the same year. And
really?
In 1991.
I remember that. So that was before.
Yeah, the Black Professional Men and U.S. Prevention Marketing Group was before the Redwood Grill. The Redwood Grill was 95 to 97.
I remember them damn condoms. I thought that was after. Okay.
No, that was a predecessor. I was running that company, and at the same time, I was one of the owners of the Redwood Grill.
My college roommate used to work for you at Redwood Grill. I'm gonna throw a name at you just to make you chuckle. Leonidas Hyman. Good enough. All right. Enough with that. Now, I understand that you have a situation, and I'm perplexed because clearly somebody isn't showing respect. And I gotta say this. I heard State Senator Mary Washington on the news today, and she was defending Baltimore City public school system. And I really wondered what damn school system she was talking about. But I'm not throwing her under the bus.
Now, did we come up in that conversation with her?
No.
Oh,
Patrice was asking her about public education, and Senator Washington was saying that there's plenty of money. But let me tell you something else. I have followed North Appold in their charter schools. Matter of fact, they hired my marketing firm to help them illuminate their issue at the time. They had 2 schools, presumably a similar situation as yours. But I get the strong impression that somebody, I get ready to say Condoleezza. What's her name? The school CEO, that they don't like charter schools. I just get that distinct impression, and it bothers me that Black people would stymie your school. 70% going to college in the first year of the first graduating class, all the way up to 97% going to college.
They're graduating. They're graduating in 4 years. About half of them are going to college. So
I'm already
far off.
You're beating the odds. And then, God rest her soul, this is Black History Month. Dr. Ann O. Emery did something similar. She and Carl Stokes, Edwin Johnson, Bluford Drew Jemison. I remember because I went to a couple of their fundraisers. They gave me an honor at one. Shantae Moore was there. Who would forget that?
Yep, I was there.
What's this diabolical pattern in this 9-1 Democratic city where we are forced, threatened to vote Democrat? Who in the hell are these people?
Well, they're doing their job. I'll say it like this: they're doing their job, Donnie, and we're doing our best to do our job. And for those who don't know, people may not know that I am now the CEO of Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys, and so that's the school that we're speaking about. Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys is a charter school here in Baltimore City, and we service boys from the 4th grade through the 8th grade. And our mission is to try and get every boy that comes through our door ready to go to college. That's our mission. So we're trying to, if they're behind in reading, we're trying to get them up in reading. If they're behind in math, and as you can imagine, we're catching boys in the 4th grade. And so we don't have them from pre-K through 3rd grade.
4th grade, is that too late? I was told you got to get them by the 3rd grade.
Yeah. And so it's a challenge because we're getting boys, in the 4th grade, and quite often a large percentage of them aren't reading on grade level. And so we spend a lot of our time trying to remediate and get them up so that by the time they graduate from us in the 8th grade, they're all the way caught up to their grade level. That's our mission, to try and get them all there. And we get lots of them there and several above, so that every year we have a number of our boys that actually make it into Poly and graduate and make it in the city, Baltimore School for the Arts, Dunbar. We have boys that going off to Calvert Hall, to Loyola Blakefield, Boys Latin, and the like, and getting them into college prep school. Now, we do have a sizable contingency that is still going to like Mervo and some of their other local high schools, but a high percentage of our boys are going into the more competitive schools that actually get them ready to go to college. And so we're really excited. Like our first class that graduated from our school in 2018 as 8th graders just graduated last June from high school. And 90% of those boys graduated, stayed within 4 years. 90% of them graduated, and the remaining boys are in this year's class. Okay. So 90% graduated on time in 4 years. Of those, 50% of those boys are in college right now. This year is our second graduating class. The ones that graduated in 2019, they will be graduating this June. And we track them all. We have a whole program called our Collegiate Pathways Program, and it's based in our Corcoran Alumni Center. So we have a director that follows all of our alumni. We work with them, help them with college applications and financial aid applications and things like that. But we know already that 97% of these boys will be graduating on time in June. We already know. And of those boys, 50% of them have already received acceptance letters to college. So we're really excited. These are our first 2 classes. If you take the average, we're in about a 94%, boys that are graduating within 4 years, with 50% of them being accepted to college. So I think that we're doing some things right, and everybody's been challenged through the pandemic as far as keeping their children on grade level and stuff like that. Everybody, the test scores for everybody were bad, and we're not immune to some of the things that everybody else experienced. But the things that we do differently, Donnie, is me, you're right. You know what we're about. It's like we're ensuring the future of the African American male. And I believe that the greatest way that we can ensure the future of the African-American male is to educate the African-American male. The thing that we know that most of the brothers that are dying in the streets are being incarcerated, one of the things that they have in common is there's a high rate of illiteracy, meaning they can't read above a 3rd grade level, 4th grade max. So 85% of the men in the criminal justice system read at a 4th grade level.
Let me just interject in here. America has 5% of the world's population, but we have 25% of the world's inmates, and nearly half of them are Black, with Black women as the fastest growing demographic. So
yep,
I just gotta ask, how did you get into... I just always saw you as a business person. I saw you as Cornell, big time business person, business, capital, money, baby, money. What happened?
It's not what happened. It's Donnie. Once again, we started Black Professional Men in 1991.
That's a give back. That's a give back. Oh my God!
Here's what's important, and here's what's important about that, Donnie. Over the course of since 1991 to now, we've mentored over 3,000 boys through Black Professional Men, and we've given out 250 scholarships to young brothers going to college through Black Professional Men. So that was my philanthropy, right? So you're right. I'm running business. My philanthropy has always been giving back to Black boys and Black men. And I was doing that through doing that through Black Professional Men. But in those years of mentoring, being in Baltimore City schools, seeing what was going on in those schools and feeling like, wow, we got to do better, particularly by these young Black boys. Something in my heart always said, I would love to open a school for Black boys, right? So it was a dream of mine. Actually, I wanted to do a boarding school and like have them so we could grab up as many boys from the city and take them out 2 hours away.
Yeah, this doesn't fit the Cornell model.
Oh, it does. It does. Yeah, see, the thing is, man, I always say like this, Donnie. We have no room, particularly in the Black community, for Black elitism, right? I just don't believe in it. I don't believe that just because I have an Ivy League education and, friends of mine do too, and we all do very well and have a nice net worth, that we're separated from our brothers and sisters, because for real, we're not. In each one of our family, all of us that have made it to some level of success, if you're Black, at some level of your family, somebody's been incarcerated, somebody's been, in jail, somebody has been poor, and we're some of the biggest philanthropists out there. Black people are. Either the money we're giving to our church or the money we're giving to family members to take care of them, to help them, whether it's for their education, help them pay their rent, taking care of them. Black people are philanthropists. And so doesn't matter how much education we have or money we've made, we're still connected to our family. And so we're only as good.
We just said that the other day on this show, that we are the biggest in terms of give back.
We are. And we have an obligation. I just feel like we have an obligation to lead our people. And then those people that W.E.B. Du Bois called the talented 10th. I believe in that. Like, we have a responsibility. So, you know what, Donnie, my family has done well. My wife and I have been really blessed. We have 2, wonderful sons. My oldest son is a sophomore in college, junior in college now. My youngest one is a freshman in high school. And they live a good life. God has blessed us so we can give them all the best things, put them in the best schools, give them the best experiences, travel, Boy Scouts, all that stuff, right? And so my sons are going to do well. But I think about these boys. Every time I turn on the news, Donnie, I could be sitting there all comfortable and stuff like that. But every time I turn on the news, I see my brothers dying. I see my brothers going to jail. And then I flash back to 150, 200 years ago, where I see my brothers lynched, hanging from trees, where people looking at the camera, smiling, like Black men dangling from trees. And that picture of the older man who's you see the welts on his back from the whips. I just think about the oppression of Black men, and it motivates me to do whatever I can to change the condition of our people. And I believe if you change the trajectory of Black men, you change the trajectory of our entire community. Because if they are strong and they can take care of themselves, then they want to take care of a wife and kids. They want to own a home. They want to be taxpayers and vote. I believe that in their core they want to be, but because too many of them are not educated at the level that they need to be, that they choose other alternatives because they don't believe that they can sustain themselves and sustain a family. And I don't blame them. And you know what, Donnie, quite frankly, I'm not even blaming the Baltimore City school system or Philadelphia City school system or Chicago school system. We have to look deeper in ourselves, man. This self-determination that we had 60 years ago, 70 years ago, when our people went to school, they wear shirt and tie. They when they were in college, they wore suits. When you look at pictures of the brothers and sisters at Howard University and Morgan in the 50s and 60s, they went to school in suits. And when we went to school, kids valued education. We thought we had to be twice as good. And our parents instilled that into us. Everybody in the community instilled in us, we got to be twice as good just to get halfway there. right? And so they pushed us, they motivated us, and we were motivated by the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement. We thought we had to do more. Today, too many of our children are living what I call the entitled lifestyle. Even when you look at the poor, in the poorest neighborhoods in Baltimore City far exceed the average lifestyle in Mumbai, India, in some other countries, like the poorest. So you can go any poor house and you'll see a 65-inch screen TV, with the best cable package that you can afford.
But you won't see a lot of books.
But you won't see a lot of books. Every kid, 4-year-olds, got earrings in their ear and a phone. But you don't see their parents reading to them. And when they send them to school, they don't say, boy, you better bring me A's and B's. And then when you come home, I'm going to sit here with you and I'm going to study. I'm going to read to you. And even if I can't read, I'm going to act like I can. So you read to me and let me look over your shoulder, right? But inspiring our children to do better.
What happened to it? What happened to us?
Well, we got lulled into a false sense of security. I'm telling you, like I said, anytime the poorest people can have luxuries, then they're feeling like, hey, but it's so that motivation to push us to drive to do better is going by the wayside in our community. And so because of that, and then in a lot of these people having children, they're illiterate too, right?
Multi-generational ignorance.
It's multi-generational.
30-year-old grandmother.
Exactly.
What made you go to Cornell? I mean, what made you choose Cornell?
Honestly, Johnny, when I was a little boy, I knew I wanted to go to the Ivy Leagues when I was like 11 years old, because it seemed like all the presidents of the United States and of the big companies and all of this kind of stuff, I would hear Harvard, Yale, Princeton. Whenever experts came on TV, it would always be these experts from Harvard, Yale, Cornell. And I'll be like, why is it those schools always have these powerful people? And that's when I looked it up and found out that the Ivy League was Harvard, Cornell, Princeton, Yale, all those schools. And that, it was the place where the rich and powerful go and to perpetuate their rich and powerfulness. So for me, who was familiar with the spook who sat by the door, I figured if the people with the power go here and I'm going to get power for my people, I need to go and learn what the powerful people know. I need to sit up in the classroom with them and learn their ways and understand that, and then bring back that information to try to empower my community.
Who taught you about empowering your community?
You know what? My dad was the first African-American on the Board of Regents of the University of Maryland. First one in 1972, right? 1970, he got on the Board of Regents. My dad, I'm a dichotomy, right? My biggest inspirations in my life have been Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, W.B. Du Bois. Those were some of my early influences. But at the same time, John Johnson, Earl Graves were my inspirations because they were entrepreneurs.
And
publishers, right? I used to dream about being one of Earl Graves' children. I don't know if you looked at Black Enterprise.
I remember. My dad used to get it. I remember.
I was reading Black Enterprise when I was 10 years old. I just looked at it and I admired, because I know my dad now. We have a great relationship, but I didn't grow up with my dad. Just my mom, my brother, and sister. Me and my dad really connected when I was at Cornell. That's when we first go. But we're ace boom coon now. I love my father very much, and I understand all the background of my upbringing. But I didn't grow up with my dad, right? And so my hypothetical dad in my mind was Earl Graves, because I watched how him and his wife raised Butch, Johnny, and Michael. Were his 3 sons. And I can imagine, like, wow, man, that's a powerful family, right? And so that hit my soul, right? I'm
glad you didn't take on victimhood. You took on victoryhood.
Oh, without a doubt, man, because
you could have went the other way. You could have said woe is me. You didn't.
No. First of all, I had a wonderful mom. I had a wonderful mom, wonderful grandparents, uncles and aunts who were great role models for me. But I've always believed in self-determination, And so I dreamt of, like, you know what? And as I read through the pages of Black Enterprise, I would see outstanding Black people who also went to the Ivy League. And then I knew that Butch was going to the Ivy League. Earl Graves Jr., his oldest son, was going to Yale. And I was like, okay, well, I want to go to Ivy League too. And so that's how, and so after I took my PSATs, the first piece of mail I got came from Cornell University. I said, see, they want me. The Ivy League wants me. So I applied. I got accepted there. I got accepted to Howard and to Penn State. But I knew where I wanted to go. And I wound up going to Cornell. And the rest, as they say, I kind of wound up here because of that. But it was there, my motivations were Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Earl Graves, John Johnson, but also Michael Dell, Bill Gates, those mega entrepreneurs that were building business. And so I always imagined, like, you know what, if I could take the best of the civil rights movement and meld it together with the best of business, could we change the way Black people live? When I think about somebody who to me has been a world changer for people, Henry Ford. Think about that man, right?
How many George Washington Carver? Don't forget George Washington Carver.
I'll get to that, but I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. Ford Motor Company still exists today. It still employs 200,000 people, and that means 200,000 families are impacted. But it's been doing it for years after years. So that means millions of lives have been impacted with jobs that can pay for homes, pay for their children to be educated, to have health care, to have retirement, and to own stuff to pass on to their children, right? Look at the impact that one man had. But in our community, when we had somebody like Dr. King or Malcolm X, they shot him, killed him, and boom, there goes the movement. What was left for us to keep growing, to build jobs, homes, education for our kids, retirement money? Nothing, right? So how can we meld the best of the civil rights movement with industry and infuse that together to move our families together? Because we need jobs, we need power, we need money and stuff like that. And so that's what motivated me to be a businessman, right? So that's when you think about me, you think of Cornell, you think business, you think money and all that. But at the same time, I want you to think Black professional men and the Rays of Hope scholars, and now Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys. It's the mixture of the civil rights of taking care of my people, particularly those of Black men, with industry. And let's bring it together. And then so the Black Entrepreneurship Weekend was an example of promoting more Black people to own businesses, to create wealth and jobs. The Rays of Hope is giving young brothers hope to go on to college and become powerful leaders. I mean, just some of our examples of success. The chief of staff of our new governor, Wes Moore, the chief of staff is a brother named Fagan Harris. Fagan is a 2007 recipient of our Rays of Hope scholarship. He went on to Stanford and became a Rhodes Scholar, went to Oxford. And now he built Baltimore Corps, an incredible nonprofit organization that empowers the city of Baltimore. But then he was tapped to become the chief of staff. I mean, and we got so many examples of Black men that have gotten our Rays of Hope scholarship, that have been mentored by members of Black professional men that are now outstanding leaders in the community, doctors, lawyers, engineers, fathers, husbands, homeowners. And so those guys are doing well. So going back to the school, why me at the school? Well, from the very beginning, I was working on building the television network. You might remember I launched a regional television network called the Soul of the South Television Network. While I was doing that, I met with Diane Bell McCoy, the CEO then of Associated Black Charities, and we just checked in because I used to serve on the board of ABC. Yeah, I used to serve on the board of ABC. So I would check in with Diane every now and then to see how things were going, and she with me. And I told her, like, Diane, yep, I sold Heart and Soul magazine. Now I'm building a television network.
That's what we didn't mention.
Yeah, we didn't. Oh, yeah, that I used to own Heart and Soul magazine. And I told her I sold it. Now I'm building a TV network. But you know what's in my heart and soul, what I really want to do? I really want to open a school for Black boys. I want to rescue these boys out of the city. I would love to open up a campus an hour or two outside of our city, come in Baltimore and wrap my arms around as many boys as I could grab and take them up and put them on this campus of safety and get them out of the hood and deprogram them and reprogram them. Let's get the negative thoughts out of their minds about themselves and about their environment, and reprogram them to believe that they are kings, that they can conquer the world. And so that's what I told her my dream was. She said, well, you know what? I got somebody you have to meet. And she introduced me to a brother named Jack Johnson Pennell. And Jack was a brother who was originally from Dayton, Ohio. He went to Amherst undergrad, went to law school, I think at Loyola Marymount, became a lawyer. He worked in D.C. on Capitol Hill for John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis. He worked in the D.C. government as chief of staff of the health department. Jack had a really diverse background. He was an investment banker first with Morgan Stanley. But he had this vision of creating the school, and he had it all written out. He had a plan. And so when I sat down to meet with him at lunch at City Cafe at the time, I'll never forget it, back in 2011, he shared with me his vision of the school. And I said, boom, there it is. God works in mysterious ways. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel, and I don't have a I don't have a problem with partnership. As you know, like with Black Professional Men, I'm co-founder with Scott Phillips and Drew Hawkins. So I don't mind getting down with other brothers who are ready to roll up their sleeves and get something done. In this case, Jack had written out the plan. He had the vision, and I just say, how can I help you? How can I help make this happen? And eventually in 2015, we opened the doors to Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys with 3 grades, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And then the next year we added a 7th. The next year we added an 8th, and we stopped at 8th because I began to say, you know what? Because we were originally going to go all the way through high school. But I started saying, you know what? I think we need to go down to kindergarten. Because we're getting these boys in the 4th grade who have all of these challenges academically. We need to get them as babies and try and train them up. And so I was on the board for the prior 3 years. I was the chairman of the board. But then right as the pandemic began, we started working on trying to open a Philadelphia Collegiate School for Boys back in my hometown. I grew up in Philly, and so I was really excited about that. And then the pandemic hit us. And so Jack, as opposed to staying here in Baltimore, because we were learning virtually, Jack just decided to move to Philadelphia and continue to work on trying to get the charter in Philly. And we ran into some roadblocks with their school board and things, but Jack fell in love with Philadelphia and the notion of trying to open that school. And so last year we came to the conclusion that Jack would, go off and continue to work on that. And I would come off the board of directors, board of trustees as the chairman and become the CEO of the school. And so, I'm no longer in media. I've been in real estate for the last, say, 5 years. Real estate and some insurance is what I have been doing professionally. And I'm still involved in those fields. But I'll tell you what, Donnie, this has been the most rewarding out of all my businesses that I've owned, out of all the things that I've done, that this has been the most rewarding.
What are you doing February 28th? We need to give you a Black Wall Street Award.
Yeah, I mean, it's
the last day of the month. It's a Tuesday. It's
Tuesday,
6 p.m. at Terra Cafe. We have to have you on the list. And I got to ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
Who is Harriet Tubman to you?
Who is Harriet Tubman? She's a role model to me. She's a role
model. Because she had hers.
Mm-hmm.
She had her equivalent of an Ivy League. She had her freedom.
Right.
But she went back to save others. We don't do that, Edwin.
Right. And that's why I say she's a role model to me, because life has been good like I said, to me and my family. We're blessed. We are really, truly blessed. God has really, really, shined his light on us. But I feel like, all right, good. I'm good, but I got to go back and get more. I got to go back and bring more with me, so that they can experience this life and know that life isn't so hard. It's not horrible. It's about our mindsets. It's about what we visualize ourselves to be. It's about what we dream of being. And so what I try to do is inspire boys to dream, to aspire to more, and so they think I'm a hard guy because I'm the one. I don't smile a whole lot, right? I'm always, gentlemen, tuck your shirt in, straighten that tie up. Where's your belt? That's not acceptable. You're out of uniform, right? And they don't understand that what Mr. Avon is trying to do is teach them discipline.
Shine your shoes.
We are trying to shine your shoes.
We got politicians running around this city with dirty shoes. How in the hell are you going to represent me? Son, my father would send me back in the house at 30-some years old. You can't ride with me. You got to shine your shoes.
Shine your shoes. Well, man, so much of that is lost. And so that's what we work on. And people wonder, well, how are you guys able to get these boys to persist all the way through 44 years to make it through high school? And it was because we kept telling them that they were great. We kept loving on them. We tell them all that your graduating class is the year that you're graduating from undergraduate degree 4 years after you graduate from high school. So when you leave us, you got 8 more years on the minimum of school. And we tell them that over and over and over again. And then we take them to college campuses and let them see. We keep exposing them. We take them internationally. We take our boys to England, Australia, to Canada. And we were going to be taking them to Africa. And then the pandemic hit. But that year we were taking a group of boys to South Africa and the pandemic hit. And now we have Dr. Barney Wilson, who is our principal, who used to be the principal of Poly. That he is now our principal of our school.
He transformed Poly. And people went after him. I'm not going to call names because there's no need. But some of these same people went after Barney. And Barney's a man's man. Black belt. He's not going to be punk. And he's going to teach. He was teaching in Africa. You went and snatched him after he did all of those marvelous things at Poly, man. A black prince. I went to Poly. And I didn't like Poly. It was culture shock. And while I got the mic, let me just say, man, you snatching up these kids and getting them somewhere else. The 2 years I was in Atlanta for Morehouse probably saved my life and improved my trajectory, because when I came back to Moreland and Baker, people I knew were dead. They were shot dead in the alley. They were shooting each other. You live over here on this block, you live over there, and they robbing each other. The best thing we can do for our young men, 18, as soon as they get out of high school, is send them the hell out of Baltimore, out of Philly. Get them out.
Yeah, let them get a new experience. And so that's my thing here, man, is giving them that chance. We got to get them prepared to get that chance. They don't understand it yet, but we do. So we have to pour into it and be their beacon, be their light, be their North Star. That's our job, man. That's our obligation.
Is there an annual fundraiser?
Well, do you know there's an ongoing fundraiser? We always encourage everybody to go to our website, baltimorecollegiate.org, and click on the donate button. And there's an ability for people to choose, we got several people that give on a monthly basis. And we're really trying to have a campaign going on where we're asking everybody, can you give $20 a month to change the lives of Black boys in Baltimore?
BaltimoreCollegiate.org. We're going to do our part right now. We're going to fix this right now.
BaltimoreCollegiate.org /donate. /donate. BaltimoreCollegiate.org /donate. And consider, a commitment of $20 a month. It's automatic. It takes it out and, you just set it up and it'll take it from you every month. And I'm going to say this, particularly because a large part of our audience that watch your show are African-American. Would you agree? That's your demographic, right? That the people who do give to us the most money are white people, right? Who totally,
that's right.
Yep. There you go. That's perfect. Those people hear what we're saying. They see it. They believe that this is hope and they want to contribute to it. And I'm just asking us, let's own our own situation, y'all.
We don't have a church. We don't have a mega church that's adopted Baltimore Collegiate. We're going to do our part. I promise you we're going to do our part. But we don't.
Well, Huber Memorial has been very supportive of us.
Okay, come on, PM. Great job, PM.
Yes, absolutely. Pastor Smith is definitely a big one in our corner. And man, look, we're
got
great.
mega
The challenge that we're going through right now, the thing that's in the news right now is they were considering non-renewal of our school. That's we were told a couple of weeks ago that
they know you.
That they were going to consider non-renewal of our school.
I heard you got the signal, you got the message while Westmore was talking to your students. That's what I heard. My inside scoop told me that.
Yeah, well, it was actually that deep. We're all sitting in the audience at the inauguration. Beautiful sunny day. It was glorious. God is incredible.
That's usually a bitter cold day.
Generally a bitter cold day, but it was a gloriously beautiful day. And our boys are sitting there watching it. I'm just filled with pride that my little guys are seeing who they can be. Right? You can be this guy. And while I'm sitting there, I get an email and I click on my phone. I look at the email and the email tells me, we're going to recommend your school for non-renewal. And I'm like,
it was the devil, brother.
The devil is at work. Like, come on, devil. You got to be kidding me.
A black devil. A black devil.
Well, I'm not going to go there. Listen. Here's the thing. I'm not calling any. When I say devil, I'm using it metaphorically, not talking about any individuals, because I know that there's principalities that are far above some things that we even understand. And so I'm going to say, like I said, I don't throw any aspersions at Dr. Santelises, at the board, or anybody. I don't. I believe that we are in control of our own fate. There's shortcomings that we as an organization have to address. But some of it, here's what I said to her and what I said to everybody. I don't believe that any of the things that we encountered this year rose to the level of closing a school that's doing so much good. Most of it is attributable to the fact is there is a teacher shortage. There is great administrator shortage of people. And so you're elevating people, some of them learning things on the job. Dr. Wilson, as you said, he was over in Africa running schools and he came back. And so he's learning systems again. And so some of the things that we were reprimanded for or given letters of concern for had to do with procedural things that my team wasn't doing correctly. So we owned them. Once we got it, we figured out what it was and fixed it. But nonetheless, you get the reprimand, and so we own the fact that we did, and we don't shirk that, right? I'm not going to point the finger of blame because nonetheless, whether we knew how to do it or not, it didn't get done the way it needed to get done. But we learned from that, and that's all I had ever said to Dr. Santelises. Anybody like, can we just partner? We just want to be better. We don't.
But Augusta Fells, right down the street from me, is giving up garbage every single damn day.
Mm-hmm. I understand, brother. Look, man, we're all, I just say it like this, Donnie, we're all in a crisis situation in this country. And I believe not just our country, around the world, people are reeling from the effects of the pandemic. The pandemic was real and what it did to people. Man, Donnie, you should see the level of burnout. People don't have the stamina that they had before the pandemic. People don't want to go back into the classroom. They don't want to show up to work.
You are doing the work, and the attack on you is simply unacceptable in a majority black city with a majority black city council in a state now with a black governor. It's unacceptable, and anybody is against it. Hey, you either for me or against me.
Mm-hmm.
You and I've had our, we've disagreed from time to time, but who can deny your commitment?
No.
And we're not supposed to agree on everything, and that's how we learn. But to deny you the ability to impact the lives of these young men is demonic. Mm-hmm. It's diabolically evil, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
You know what, man? Listen, I pray to God that things will work out in our favor. I believe it. I'm a man of faith, Donnie. You just said we don't always agree on things, you and I, right? But you don't know, man. I've never disagreed with you. I've never had any issue with you. I don't have any issue with any man because I just have love in my heart. I may not do things.
All right. We had one challenge. Okay, let me.
Yeah, but I love you. I love you, and I never wanted to have any challenges. I just tell you, I don't.
You've always tried to, and you put your wife on me, and she smiled. It's like, all right, fine.
That's one of the benefits of marrying a beautiful woman. Her smile works sometimes, but. Listen, man. Listen, I don't hold anything.
No one should be bothering you, bro. You've got sweat equity hours. It's not like you one of these cats running from mayor and do a commercial with a pickup truck. Dude, you were right there on Eager Street. You were right downtown. You're in the thick of Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Who does that? And it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I don't care who's in charge. It's unacceptable.
I pray that the Board of Commissioners agrees with you. That's all, we can do is pray that the Board of Commissioners agree with you, that Dr. Santelises agrees with you, because she makes a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners, and then it's up to the Board of Commissioners to make their vote. We have to plead our case to them. We'll do that on Thursday for 4 minutes.
I don't even like that language. Please.
Yeah, plead our case. Well, everybody, we'll present
King, and you raising kings. And if there's a queen, they should be respecting the king. You doing good stuff. Dude, I've never heard nobody say, oh, Evan got a package up on Poplar Grove. Evan, he invests in prisons. Ain't nobody ever said that about Edwin. I ain't saying you Jesus, but you might be his cousin. I don't know.
No, I do my best.
You certainly have taught me to be a little more, cool-headed. Cool heads prevail. But damn it, I'm mad right now because this is unacceptable and it's wrong, diabolically wrong.
I understand, and like I said, I believe that God will prevail, and He'll prevail in the hearts of the people who are decision makers to make a decision that will benefit all of us. But we need support from the community, Donnie. I will not deny that. Like I said, here's the thing. I believe that God is going to get us through this situation. And there's three things that we need, right? We need great teachers. So if there's anybody in your audience who used to be a teacher or teach at another place, or, they feel like they want to give back and actually impact the lives of boys, please let me know. We'd love to interview you and consider you for an opportunity in our school. So we want qualified teachers, people who have certifications, because that was a big challenge for us this year. Getting certified, qualified teachers was a real challenge for us this year. Next, if you're an administrator, if you've been involved in school administration, you understand Baltimore City schools systems and policies and things like that, and you can lend a hand, whether it's on our staff or as a volunteer who helps us, so that we don't fall afoul of the system anymore. I ask you to reach out to me, and then we make our appeal to the parents of boys. We're unapologetically, Johnny, we are a school dedicated to getting Black boys, or all boys. It just so happens that the majority of our population are Black boys, but we're open to all boys in Baltimore City. We do not discriminate. But we want to work with families who are dedicated to their sons getting a quality education and going to college. I just want to repeat that. And some people might say, well, college ain't for everybody. Some people might want to go
disagree. Hey, they get over that damn jail. They sitting down there for 15 years and they come home and say, I got my GED, I got my degree in college. Then your ass can sit down right here.
You can do that right here.
Wrong one, they can sell that to somebody else.
Right. And what I tell people is that there's 151 schools in Baltimore City. A large number of them are middle schools and elementary schools, that if you don't want your son to go to college, or you don't care whether he goes to college, that you can send your child to any one of those schools. We're just speaking to the people whose heart is, I want my son to thrive, and he can handle that environment, because we are challenging, we're demanding, and we're not apologetic, and we're not going to coddle your son. We're not going to say, oh, it's okay, son, you can be disruptive. It's okay, son, you can come in uniform. You can wear your sneakers today. No, we're going to tell your son to go home. Put on your uniform when you come back in here, because it's the root of it is discipline. We have to help your son become disciplined so that he can make it through high school and college, right? And so we want people who care about their children, people who are willing to read to their children at home and have their children read to them, people who are going to sit down with their children every day and do homework with them and make sure it's done and check it. We don't want parents who want to come to a school and argue with the teacher that their child was right, when we watch your child every day be disruptive and disrespectful. Don't be one of those parents. Don't bring your son to our school if that is something that you've ever experienced in your past, because then you're going to deal with us and you can see that we're serious, right? And you know me, Donnie, we're serious. This is, I want every boy that comes to our school to be prepared to get accepted to Cornell, to Morehouse, I want them to be prepared. And I know what it takes because I did it. I got through it. I made it and graduated. And my son got accepted to Morehouse. You got accepted to Morehouse. I know what it takes to get them there. So don't come to our school arguing with us about our methods.
Edwin,
yes, sir.
Edwin, back in elementary school, I used to wonder to myself, how did the teachers know my father's name? I was a little boy, elementary school, Matthew Henson Elementary. I remember being just blown away. How do you know my? It's 30 other kids that you know my father by name. I picked up on that, and I realize now, because he was one of the only parents who would come to the school.
Right. To look out for his son, right? To stand up for, advocate for him, or to find out how he needed to be able to help the teachers discipline him if that's what's needed. Because our parents cared about that. And that's all I want to say. Donnie, you'd be surprised the number of times I smell a young man come in my building at 7:30 in the morning, and I'm saying, I hope this boy doesn't have a contact, because I can smell what's on his clothes, right?
They smoking weed at home around him.
Yeah.
It's normalized.
It's normalized. It's normal, and it's not normal. And that's what our parents, and that's what I'm just saying. It's like, I ain't trying to like really dog or call anybody out, but like if we want Black excellence, we gotta act excellent. We gotta demonstrate excellence to our children if we want Black excellence. And I say that and as a school who didn't get excellent marks from the school district this time around, and that's why they actually considered closing us. And we got to get better. And Dr. Wilson knows that. I charge Dr. Wilson that, hey, you're the school leader. And whatever we got to do, let's take it to that next level. And so he knows we got a 4-year plan. And I'm just grateful that they're going to that they're going to consider. I think they'll be open to considering giving us
the same man who went and transformed. They moved him from Poly, the first Black principal at Poly. I want to say to Reginald Lewis. And he transformed a school that nobody wanted to go to. He turned the swimming pool into, a gymnasium. I mean, he made something out of nothing. This is a brilliant man, and this mean, evil dude. He went to Poly. Marty Glaze and them built a robotics lab up there at Poly.
Yep. And we're looking to some of those same people to come here and help us build out Baltimore Collegiate. And so right now we're just like I would say, we're in a little fight for our life. We're asking, the Board of Commissioners to consider giving us an extension and letting us continue to do the work that we do, and let us really perfect what we're doing so we can take it to that next level and it be the talk of the town that everybody wants to be at our school. And we have a big, long wait list of boys trying to get into our schools. But once again, the parents I'm trying to appeal to, or the parents who want excellence for their son, who bring excellence themselves, who hold their sons to a high standard and themselves to a high standard. Don't come if this isn't what you want. If you don't want to hear people push back and say, hey, this isn't good enough, we expect more, don't come here. Because that's what we're going to do. Because you want your son to make it to college. We know what it takes. So listen, please work with us, listen to us, let us help your son achieve the greatness that you want for your son.
Mr. Avent, we thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I'm sorry to learn of this unfortunate, but thank God I did learn about it, and we're going to do whatever you need, whatever we can do. We'd love to help, be a part of continuing this legacy that you and the family have built. And you've mentioned some wonderful people, some wonderful ideas. Any final thoughts?
No, I just, just ask everybody to pray for us. Just keep Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys in your prayers, and then past us, pray for our city. Pray for us and pay for us.
And
pay for us, yes. Pray for us and, help us, because we really do need that. We're going to change their lives, you all. And so whenever you're sitting there thinking like, how can I give back? How can I actually help Black boys in this city?
We can get Kevin Hart, instead of in addition to doing his gambling commercials, we can get Kevin Hart to come and do some comedy to raise money for, we can use our celebrity. We can get Lamar.
Yes.
Because we put a lot of emphasis on Super Bowls, the football. We know the Ravens, but we don't know our children's teachers by name.
And celebrate them at the same level as we celebrate the football players. Because trust me, you all, teachers need to be paid more and teachers need to be celebrated more, because this work is God's work. It's not for the faint of heart. It is not for the faint of heart. Today's child is a different kind of child. Children coming back from the pandemic came back differently. And so we just ask that you pray for our teachers, pray for our school, pray for the boys, and then pray for all young Black men in Baltimore City, in our state. Please pray for them, because
I appreciate this, because
we need
not
help.
fighting our sisters, but as a Black man, I know we face the bullet. We face stress. Edwin, I'm about a year younger than you, but cats are dying from stroke at 40.
Look to the left, look to the right. And it's our friends, bro. It's our friends. It's our peers. Like, what? Gone. And so that's what's deep too, Donnie. This is the deeper thing, that the average life expectancy for Black men, period, is still like upper 60s, lower 70s. It's not 85. We're still young, right? And it doesn't matter the socioeconomic background, Donnie. Black men, even college-educated Black men with master's degrees and PhD, are dying at young ages from things like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, cancer. And so much of that has to do with the stress that we deal with. But a large part of it has to do with our diet and our exercise. And we got to do something more about that. And we need to fast more. We need to fast, whether it's intermittent fasting or fasting, and let our bodies heal. There's so much we could talk about, Donnie.
Are there sports at Baltimore Collegiate?
Oh, Donnie, nobody wants to play us in sports. We kill everybody. Basketball, football, lacrosse, you name it. We got all the teams. Baseball. We crush, man. We got robotics. We're working on our debate team. So yeah, Donnie, nobody wants to play Baltimore Collegiate in anything. We got boys right now. A young man who's graduating from St. Francis. His last name is Womack. He is going to LSU. He was one of my football players here. He's just finishing his 4th year at St. Francis. He's going to LSU. Then we got a young brother named Derek Queen. When he graduated from here, he went to St. Francis for 1 year. Now he's at Mount Verde Academy down in Florida. Basketball player. He's like the number 8 player in the entire country in the class of next year's class, the 2024 class. So we have outstanding athletes, incredible teams. Are
there any tours coming up? Do other schools do tours
of our school?
Yeah.
We're doing more going out to schools and talking to children at their schools and their parents, trying to recruit them to come to our school. But I anticipate that some schools maybe, they'll wait to hear our fate. And once the fate is known, and I believe that God is going to rule in our favor, that we'll be opening up for tours and inviting families to come through and schools to bring their boys through to get a feel for Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys. And
2525 Kirk Avenue.
2525 Kirk Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland 21218. 2525 Kirk Avenue. People say it used to be the Comcast building. People used to come here to pay their Comcast bill.
We should be doing the Black Wall Street Awards up there.
Absolutely, Donnie. Anytime you'd like to use our facility,
I want to bring some people there and have them contribute to Baltimore Collegiate.
That would be awesome, Donnie. That would be awesome. I think, no matter what, we're on a mission, man. I really want to build an endowment, Donnie. And people think I'm like crazy, but my audacious vision is $1 billion endowment for Black boys and Black men. And we want to build that up so that we have that money invested so we can use it.
$1 trillion?
$1 trillion endowment.
Okay.
$1 trillion endowment, so that we can use the interest to pay our bills. We'll never be at the whim of a board who votes whether or not we can get another 3 years. If we can build our own resources that we can sustain the school, then we will build our own. You know, we just got to be more in control of our own destiny as people, as Black people. We need to be more in control of our own destiny. And having a school like this is one of the ways we do it. You know, I'm not worried about Mr. DeSantis, like, you know, not allowing some curriculum up in my school. My boys are going to learn about who they are. They're going to learn about the history of Black people in this country and throughout the diaspora. We have that ability to do that. I'm grateful for that. And that's one of the great things about being a charter school. We have the autonomy to, you know, implement a curriculum that we want to. At the same time, we have to hit on all the COMAR regulated ones that we have to hit on for the state, whether it's English, math, science, social studies, all those things, second language. So we do all those things. But then when it comes to the flavor that we deliver it in, the historical context, things like that, we're able to teach our boys about themselves, about their origin. And I'm just proud about that. I'm just really, really proud.
I'm very proud of you, Mr. Avent. I'm very, very proud of you. This is a wonderful, wonderful interview. Thank you for taking the time. We will get an award for you February 28th. I'll send you the details, and I will talk with you about bringing a Black Wall Street there and whatever else we can do to help illuminate Baltimore Collegiate. Kudos to Dr. Wilson. Please tell him hello. Tell him we still got that karate chop. I know he's a black belt.
I definitely will, man. I will give him your blessing and give him all the best from you. And I'm sure I can speak for him when he says, you know, thank you for all that you do, Donnie. You know, you're all of our friends. Like I said, man, I have never had anything but love for you, my brother. And I appreciate all you do for our community.
Put my butt one time. Like, wow.
Yeah, but that's okay. You know, it's all in love, man. Look, I just applaud you for what you've been doing for over the years of celebrating people who might not otherwise be celebrated, who deserve it with the Black Wall Street Awards. I think that you've been doing a fantastic honor and service to our community, because I look at the picture, I look at how people receive that award and how it makes them feel from just the way they look at the picture. It's a source of pride. So thank you very much for lifting our people up. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to share with your audience what's happening at Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys.
Thank you, big brother. Have a beautiful day.
Same to you, my friend. Take care.
Good morning, world.